Hey guys, this is Candle and welcome to a new Let's Play. Yes, it has been a while. Yes, I've been gone. I got burnt out a bit last year for some reason. And I also had other stuff going on. I had a massive car repair I had to pay for that wiped out most of my funds for the rest of the year. And I kind of had to cancel my Adobe subscription. But we are back and we're doing Final Fantasy. This is the Pixel Remaster. Last time I played this game for the channel, we did the 20th anniversary PSP edition. Now we're doing the Pixel Remaster instead. If I do this game again in the future, I'll probably do one of the older versions. Possibly even the NES version. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to start a new game. We're going to set up our party. I'm going to do my typical usual party here. So, your mileage may vary for what you like. But we've got, 4 different characters and 6 different classes to choose from. You can mix and match them however you want. I like to keep the warrior, swap out the thief for the red mage, and then do the white mage and the black mage. And that's it. I don't much care for the thief. His only good use is running away from battle. I don't much care for the monk, although you could swap him out for the warrior if you want. But, if you don't bring a warrior, there's, a late game weapon you're not going to be able to use. So anyways, let's go ahead and name these people. We're going to stick with the typical names I prefer. Candle for the leader. Jack for the red mage, because he's a jack of all trades. He's able to fight with melee weapons and also use, white and black magic. And then for our white mage, that's Jack's sister, so it's going to be Jill. As in, Jack and Jill went up the hill. And then the black mage is Carl. Because I always think it's kind of funny to name the black mage Carl. Alright, so that's it. We're done. We're ready to go. Alright, let's get this adventure on the road. Got some ominous music going. The world lies shrouded in darkness. The winds die. The seas rage. The earth decays. But the people believe in a prophecy, patiently awaiting its fulfillment. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. After a long journey, 4 young travelers did at last appear. And in the hand of each was clutched a crystal. And there they are, the 4 elemental crystals. And then the game immediately dumps us out in front of the starting town with a quick overview of the controls. I don't really need that. You can see there is a mini-map for the world map up in the upper right screen. And that will be there regardless. We can actually, I think, change the size of that. Yes, with L or R2. With R2, we can change the size of that, but that's the default size, so we're going to want to keep it like that. L1 and L2, or L1 and R1 let us shift who we see on the overworld, but we want to keep that on Candle. And Square pops up the world map in greater detail, but there's no locations on it right now because we haven't been anywhere. And then Triangle shows us the main menu here, where we have items, magic, equipment, status, order, configuration, quick save, save, and load. All right, so quick save you can use pretty much anywhere as long as you are not in combat. Save, I think you can only use on the world map, and then load you can use anywhere you're not in combat as well. We're going to go ahead and save real quick. Yeah, I was recording earlier today too. Didn't go as well as I'd hoped, but we're going to go ahead and save over that. And up here is my previous full playthrough of this game when it first came out on PS4. We are doing the PS4 version. We're playing on PS5. You're not going to see any trophies pop up because of that, because I 100% completed this game. You can see the party was at level 99. So we're not going to do that quite as much this time. We're going to do all of the side content and everything like that. We're going to open all the treasure chests and stuff like that. But we're not going to worry about getting up to max level. We're not going to worry about filling out the bestiary, pretty much because it's already done. But we are going to do like all the extra stuff beyond that. All right. If we go to load, you can see there's a quick save as well as an auto save, and the game auto saves every time you enter a new map, which is really, really useful in some scenarios. Anyways, beyond that, you can see the statuses of our characters on the right, and the status of our crystals on the bottom left, along with our time count and our gil. And, well, none of the crystals are lit because we haven't done anything yet. So we do start this game off with some equipment, not much, but some. Certain versions of the game, you start off with no equipment at all. But we do start off with some equipment here. So let's go ahead and just head into the town here. And this is Cornelia, the City of Dreams. Now, it doesn't... I wonder if that's, more metaphorical or if it's literal. I don't know. But I'll talk more about that later. Anyways, we've got, different NPCs we can talk to. We've got different things we can interact with. Let's take a peek at your reflection in the water. Ugh, you're filthy. Use this to wash up. Well, maybe later. For now, there's one other piece of environment here we can interact with, and that's this well. It's a well. It looks like you could climb inside, but you can't. Really. I think this was a nod to Dragon Quest, which came out the year before Final Fantasy back in 1986. Final Fantasy originally came out in 1987 on the Famicom and 1990 on the NES, but Dragon Quest was 1986, and in Dragon Quest I know you can actually go down into wells and stuff like that, but here you can't. So let's go ahead and talk to some people. Restore the crystals to grace. We will definitely do that. That is our main objective here. Hi there, I'm a dancer. What's that? You want to dance with me? So yeah, in other versions, she actually has a name. I believe it's Erelon. The king truly believes in Lucan's prophecy that the warriors of light will come to save the princess. Well, we will certainly try. Oh, please, you must rescue the princess. Again, we will try. Sage Lucan said something about finding the crescent moon, then you just up and left town. All right, so there's a sage we got to talk to at some point. Beyond that, we've got over here, please rescue Lady Sarah. We will definitely do that. I believe Sarah's the name of the princess. I once lived far to the east of here in the harbor city of Pravoka. These days, I hear it's turned into a pirate's den. Well, good for them. So, town here we've got, different shops. We can open up the map here to take a better look at the whole thing. But you've got, you've got an item shop here. You've got the sanctuary where you can revive fallen comrades. You've got the inn where you can heal and recharge your magic. And then you've got the weapon and armor shop and then the magic shop. So we're going to go to the weapon shop first. And we're going to get some better equipment. Because while we do start with some equipment, it's not very good equipment. And there is, already better stuff we can get. Like, let's go ahead and get a couple rapiers. Let's get a hammer. And let's go ahead and swap out some equipment here. We'll go optimal, optimal, optimal. And here, optimal is not going to change it, because the staff is +6 to attack, and the knife is +5. But I do want to switch out the staff for a knife, because even though it's lower attack, it's only going to drop it by 1 point, but we're going to raise our accuracy by quite a bit. And accuracy is sometimes far more important than attack power, because low accuracy means that you can miss quite a bit, whereas high accuracy means you'll hit with almost every time. So having high attack power doesn't really matter much if you can't hit worth shit. So we're going to go ahead and sell off the extra items here that we don't need to get us some extra gil. And we're going to go ahead and swap over to the armor, because we do need to get some better armor. Now, Everybody's already got clothes on, which is great. You know, you don't want to be walking around naked. But as you can see, leather armor is better. Although our mages can't, our white and black mages can't use it. And chainmail is even better than that. So we're going to go ahead and buy a couple chainmail sets for Candle and Jack and swap those out. Whoops. And then we're going to sell off their clothes because we're not going to need those anymore. All right. So that leaves us enough gil for some spells. Let's go ahead and get some white magic first. Let's go ahead and get Cure for both Jill and Jack, but we're going to put it in your slot number 3. We're going to get Dia as well, which is very useful. It attacks all undead enemies on the screen, but only Jill can learn that, so we'll give that to her. And we're going to leave the other 2 spells for now. Protect and Blink are both useful. Unfortunately, Blink only works on the caster, whereas Protect can be cast on anybody in the party. So when we do come back to fill out Jill's spell chart, we'll get her Protect. But for now, I want to save the rest of our gil for Black Magic, where we are going to buy Thunder and Fire for both Jack and Carl, because those are must-haves. They're elemental attack spells. They are must-haves. Jack is completely filled out with magic right now. Carl, we don't have any magic to buy him another spell, but when we do, it'll probably be Sleep, because I think that's a little bit more useful than Focus, because Sleep attacks all enemies, puts all enemies to sleep, although it is a low chance of succeeding, whereas Focus only lowers one enemy's evasion. And, we're probably not going to use either of those spells that much anyways, but still would be good to have. All right, talking about magic real quick, you can see, we'll go to Jill. So, actually, you know what, we'll go to Jack because he's got a full spell book. So the way magic works in Final Fantasy 1, unless you're playing the Game Boy Advance or PSP versions, is it's based on spell charges. So magic is organized into various levels. This is regardless of any version of Final Fantasy 1 you play. There's 4 black and 4 white spells per level. Characters can only learn up to 3 spells per level at a time. Although we can, forget them if we make a mistake and go buy more. But you can only learn up to 3 spells at a time. Each spell, or 3 spells per level at a time. And then here's where the Pixel Remaster and PS1 and NES versions differ from the Game Boy Advance and PSP, because Game Boy Advance and PSP use an MP system, which is like standard for like any RPG these days, especially JRPGs, where every spell has a specific MP cost, which is then pulled, used up from the character's pool of MP whenever you cast a spell. So you could cast the spell as many times as you want, as long as you have enough MP for it. These versions, it's a little bit different because it's based on spell charges, where you can only have a certain number of charges per spell level. In this case, Jack has 2 charges of level 1 and 0 charges of all the others. So even if he knew a level 2 spell, he would not be able to cast it right now because he doesn't have any magic charges. Now he can cast level 1 spells 2 times because he has 2 charges. But it's not 2 times per spell, it's 2 times per level. So he could cast 2 fires, or he could cast fire and thunder, or he could cast thunder and cure, or 2 cures, or what have you. But he cannot cast 2 fires and a thunder, or 2 cures and a thunder, or like 3 thunders, or whatever, because he doesn't have enough spell charges. So that's kind of the way magic works in this game. It's a little bit different than what most people are used to, but it's literally ripped straight from like Dungeons and Dragons, which at the time this game was originally developed. All right, I don't know if you just heard the charge complete, but I accidentally unplugged my mic, which is plugged in via USB. My headset and stuff. So I needed to make sure that came back and everything is good. So there shouldn't have been any interruption to sound, hopefully. Ugh. I'm really hoping when I go back to edit this later, it's not going to screw everything up. But yeah, I accidentally set on the cable. So yeah, the version of Dungeons & Dragons they would have been playing at the time would have been, I think, a D&D or possibly D&D 2.0. I'm not sure. I could be getting confused, and those might be the same thing. I honestly have no idea. I've only really ever played D&D 3.5 and very briefly. So anyways, the magic system was pulled straight from Dungeons & Dragons, basically, is what I was trying to say. And a lot of the bestiary was, too. Now, it's been changed somewhat due to legal reasons, but a lot of the early monster designs were very, very heavily inspired by Dungeons & Dragons. And, you know, I'll point some of those out as we continue playing. But for now, we are done. You know, we've got our magic, we've got our equipment, and we've talked to pretty much everybody in town, so it's time to leave the town. If we had enough money, we would go to an inn as well, which in the NES version is like the only way you can save the game other than using certain items. And we don't have any money for items either. We'll go ahead and take a look in the item shop though real quick. There we go. So you can see we've got like all these different items here. So the sleeping bag, tent, and cottage would be what would have been allowed, what would have allowed you to save the game outside of using inns. Would allowed you to save the game on the overworld in you know, the NES version and so on. Remedies did not exist then. Gold needles did, but Echo Grass, Eye Drops did not exist then. Antidotes did. Phoenix Downs did not exist then. Ethers did not exist then. High Potions did not exist then. It was literally just potions, antidotes, gold needles, sleeping bags, tents, and cottages, though they were, of course, called different things at the time. So this game, you know, has some quality of life improvements, I would say. Much, much better than, you know, having to lug around a crap ton of potions and buy them one at a time. Anyways, so I mentioned, you know, the magic charges. How do you refill the magic charges? Well, the way to do that is through ethers, which restore 1 MP per magic level, or through using tents or cottages, which, you know, will restore the party's HP and MP while in the field, you know, while in the overworld, or by staying in an inn. Now, tents and cottages won't restore the full MP, I don't think, or at least tents won't, cottages might, but staying in an inn will restore the entire thing. And that, again, that's based on Dungeons and Dragons, where your, you know, your spell charges would refill at the dawn of every day. And, you know, this is a game without a day-night cycle, so the only way to simulate that is by, you know, sleeping at an inn or sleeping with a tent or a cottage and stuff like that. So anyways, we'll talk more about magic once we get into combat and stuff like that. But for now, let's go ahead and talk to this guy. And, you know, any of the soldiers at the exits would work, but this one will be fine. The king is searching for the prophesied warriors of light. Those crystals. You must see the king at once. Which immediately draws us in. So the original version did not have cutscenes at all. This game kind of forces you into certain scenarios and, you know, shows cutscenes and stuff like that. It's so much better. There's literally no reason to go back and play the original unless you really want to give yourself a headache with how difficult it is, or, you know, you've got nostalgia, or you're looking at it for historical reasons. In other words, just play the Pixel Remaster. It's the best version of this game to play. It doesn't have the extra content from the Game Boy Advance or PSP versions, but it is still, I would say, the best overall version of the game. Anyways, welcome, travelers. I'm told you carry crystals. Is this true? Yes, we are carrying our crystals in our hands. It's just as Lucan's prophecy foretold. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. So yeah, that was the prophecy we were, you know, learning part of during the opening cinematic. Your Majesty, we cannot be certain that these are the warriors foretold by the prophecy. Yes, quite right. Yet they stand before us with the crystals. I cannot dismiss this as mere coincidence. Crystal bearers, there is a task I would ask of you. Will you rescue my daughter, Sarah? Garland, a knight once in His Majesty's service, has abducted Princess Sarah. I ask for your aid in the name of His Majesty, the King of Cornelia. Garland has taken refuge in the Chaos Shrine, which lies to our north. Of course, we did attempt to save the princess ourselves, but Garland is the finest swordsman in the kingdom. We have none who can match him. The finest swordsman, huh? Really? Well, we'll see about that. I have heard that you wish to journey to the continent to our north. The bridge leading north was lost long ago, making passage impossible. If you can rescue Sarah, I will have the bridge rebuilt as a token of my gratitude. Go now, warriors of light, and do not fail me. Alright, so already we're starting with a quest to save a princess, which is where most games would end, is saving the princess. Here it's just the beginning. The warriors of light have come at last. How long have we awaited for this day to come? Excuse me. Garland is no longer the man I once knew. I beg of you, please return my daughter to me quickly. And what of you, Chancellor? The dancing girl in town knows many odd bits of information. If you find yourself astray, try talking to her. She may know something that can put you back on course. So in other words, if you get lost, go to her for hints. Although, I will say, the way this game was originally designed, the dancer literally just said, I'm Erelon the dancer, and that was it. She wasn't like an in-game hint system. Instead, you had to talk to all the NPCs, and that's still in here. But the NPCs would guide you and give hints about where you need to go next. Like, literally everything you need to know, you can learn from the NPCs. There are 2 locations, and maybe 3 locations, depending on how you count it, that are a little bit tough to try to figure out. Partially because 2 of them don't really show up on the world map at all. You know, there are still NPCs who will guide you to them if you find the right, find and talk to the right one. But for now, let us go ahead and explore the rest of the castle here. Our reports say that Garland fled north with the princess to the Chaos Shrine. See, like, this is exactly what I mean. In the original game, you didn't necessarily have to talk to the king, but if you, somehow skipped the king, and then the Chancellor wasn't even there at that point either. So, the king would literally just tell you, hey, my daughter's been abducted by Garland, please go rescue her. And then you'd have to talk to this guy to figure out where Garland went. So he's gone north to the Chaos Shrine. And we can actually dash here by holding circle. So we'll go ahead and do that as well. The king is searching for the prophesied warriors of light. Those crystals, could it be? Yes, indeed it is. Alright, so in the NES version, there is an invisible woman here. She got removed from later editions, so you can't talk to her anymore, unfortunately. Garland was once the greatest knight in the kingdom, but power consumed him and he lost sight of who he really was. Aw. Well, that's a shame. I imagine he was a good guy at some point. Please, save Lady Sarah. We will definitely do that. Her Majesty's overcome with grief. She's shut herself inside her chambers. Please try not to upset her. Now, usually when somebody says they've shut themselves inside somewhere, that means the door's locked. But not this one. It just means that she's not coming out. I am Jane, Queen of Cornelia. Please bring my daughter, my Sarah, back to me safely. We will certainly try. The king's searching for prophesied warriors, yada yada. And here we have the younger princess. My sister! I want my sister! Yes, we will try to find her for you. Now you may notice there are rooms back here that we can't can't quite seem to find a way to. The reason is because you have to actually go behind the castle to get to them. So don't go past the outer walls, but come out into the bailey here and go around, and you can get back here this way. Our ancestors sealed weapons within this treasure room 400 years ago. Then they gave the key to the Elf King to hold until the coming of the Warriors of Light. So yeah, these doors are currently locked with the Mystic Key, which is a key item, haha, that we will need to find in order to unlock them. And this guy says the exact same thing. Alright, so that is literally it. We've gotten our quest. It's time to go off and search. Alright. And yeah, here's the bridge that the king was talking about. And we get our first fight. All right. We are going to just go straight for it. Have everybody attack. There's no need to use any of our magic charges. And because of a little thing called redirected attacks, we don't have to sit there and think about who we're going to attack. Just line them up and let them rip. Unfortunately, you can't dash on the overworld. But yes, here's the bridge that the king was talking about. And we've got our thing. So yeah, the original game, the original version, there were no redirected attacks. If if you tried to attack an enemy that was already defeated, it would literally just whiff. But here, you don't have to do that. So we can just do that. Or, by pressing square, we can turn on auto battle, which will, have everybody repeat the last action and make things run a little bit quicker. We're probably going to rely on this quite a bit for, odd fights like this. Fights that don't really matter. Because it makes things go so much faster. It really does. Now, does that mean I'm letting the game play itself? Yeah, kind of a little bit. But it's a risk I'm willing to take. It's almost necessary at some point. Especially if you are trying to grind to max level or, get, fill out the bestiary and stuff like that. Grinding for certain encounters. Anyways, we got enough experience here that everybody's leveled up because everybody gains experience at the same rate as long as they finish the fight still standing and not petrified or slain or whatever, knocked out or whatever. They will get experience for the fight. And everybody levels up at the same rate. So we're going to try to keep everybody going together as well. Alright, so if we go here, you can see if we check out magic. So their spell charge, their maximum spell charges have increased, but they didn't gain the extra spell charges. They just have the capacity for more spell charges. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Anyways, here's the Chaos Shrine, our first dungeon of the game. Now our goal is literally straight ahead here. Excuse me. However, if you take a look around, you'll notice there are chambers off to the sides in the corners. These hold treasures. Now, the ones on the right, we're not going to bother with because they are locked with the Mystic Key. There's literally no reason to go to them right now unless you want to fight more, tougher monsters. Instead, we will go down here because these ones actually have loot that is worthwhile. All right. So we've got a Gigas Worm, which is a little bit stronger here than some crappy old goblins. And again, we're just having everybody straight up attack because they don't have, our mages don't have enough magic charges to make magic worthwhile in regular combat right now. Especially since we don't have any tents or... Oh, come on, Carl! Alright, we're running. Because like I said, I want everybody to, survive. So we're going to go ahead and grab the loot here. We've got a leather cap. We'll give that to Carl because he obviously needs it. But Carl got knocked out. And we're gonna run from fights. For now. Good, we got a preemptive strike. That gives us a chance to run. Actually, we're just going to use auto battle to run. Alright, do we have... Yes, we have enough gil. As long as we don't lose anybody else. I'm a little bit worried about losing Candle now. Alright. Alright, we are going to go ahead and use Jill's Cure, which you can use outside of combat, to heal a little bit. And we're going to get this loot up here, which is a potion and a tent, which would have been really useful. But unfortunately, tents do not resurrect people. The only way to resurrect people is by going to a sanctuary, using a life or life 2 spell, or, in certain versions that include it, using a Phoenix Down, which we don't currently have. They are in this version, but we don't have them. So we're going to run back to town real quick. We're off to an auspicious start, aren't we? Carl already got knocked down. I can't believe it. But even though he got level 2, he didn't really get that much more health. Part of the problem is that stat increases on level up are semi-randomized. So, they are what they are. But yeah, you can notice on our world map mini-map here that we've got, yellow dots now for the locations we've been to. So if we go here, we can actually check them out. So, Castle Cornelia, there's 6 chests there. Cornelia, there's 0 chests, but it shows you what shops are there. Chaos Shrine, there's 13 chests. Most of those you'll get towards the end of the game. We've only gotten 3 so far, which is the max you can get at this point of the game from the Chaos Shrine. Like I said, some are hidden behind the Mystic Key. Excuse me. Now, for some reason, the sanctuary doesn't show up as an icon on the map. I don't know why, but it's this little building here. So we can go ahead and resurrect Carl. Costs 40 gil. We'll go ahead and do that. And unfortunately, whenever you resurrect somebody, unless you're using like the Life's 2 spell, which might have a different name in this version, I don't remember. We'll see it eventually. But unless you're using the Life 2 spell, whenever you resurrect somebody at the Sanctuary or use a Phoenix down, you're only going to end up with 1 HP for them. So you gotta heal them again, otherwise with magic or items, or, you know, stay at the inn or whatever, which is what we're going to do real quick. So we're going to stay at the inn. Oh, and I forgot about these guys off to the right here. So that, you know, if you're a new player to this game, they would be great to talk to. Let's go back in here so we can talk to them real quick, because they give you more hints and tips on how the game works. So, you know, this guy teaches you about equipment. Equipment is split into 2 categories, weapons and armor. Equipping a weapon will increase attack rating. 4 types of armor: shields, helms, gloves, and body armor. Any armor you wear on your body, including armlets, is classified as body armor. Shields are held in one hand, while helms are worn on the head, yada yada. Remember that weapons and armor you find won't do you any good unless you equip them. Selecting optimal will automatically equip the strongest weapons and armor in your inventory, which is not actually the best idea, as we learned with the knife versus the staff for Carl. And beyond that, which he doesn't go into, the stats here. So strength, agility, stamina, intellect, luck, those are the stats that get increased on level up. Attack and accuracy. Attack is how hard you can hit. Accuracy is, you know, how often you'll hit. Excuse me. Those are based on the bonuses from the weapon you have equipped, plus you know, the combinations of various base passive stats. Defense and evasion is kind of similar. You know, defense is how much damage you can tank and stuff like that. Whereas evasion is, you know, how often you will dodge attacks. And like with weapons, those are based on bonuses from armor and a combination of different stats and so on. So this guy talks about items. So it never hurts to carry a lot of potions and antidotes and so on. We will eventually. We just don't have enough money right now. Stocking up on items in advance will help you conserve your magic for the times you need it most. Because again, magic is very limited in this game unless you're playing the Game Boy Advance or PSP versions where it's like MP based. Let's move on to sleeping bags, tents, and cottages. These 3 splendid items allow you to restore your HP and MP. You can only use them outdoors though, so basically on the overworld. In addition to these traditional items, certain pieces of equipment may be used as items as well, although you don't get any of them until like halfway through the game. But they can be very useful, especially if you're playing on a more difficult version of the game, like the NES or whatever. This version is not the easiest, but it's also not the most difficult. I would say the NES is the most difficult, in part because there are some bugs that change the way the game is works from the way it was intended, and just makes it more difficult than it really should be. Anyways, the only way to know if a given piece of equipment has a use is to try it out, so experimentation is key. Most of them will be kind of obvious, but you know, we'll get into that more when we actually get to those items. In the course of your travels, you'll come across unique items known as key items. Some key items have an effect when used in a specific location. So yes, those are the items that are of use to your adventure in general, not just for use in or out of combat and stuff like that. So this guy talks about monsters. Many different types of monsters with different weaknesses. Yes, they do have elemental weaknesses. Finding monsters' weakness will help you gain the upper hand in battle. For example, aquatic monsters are susceptible to lightning, basically thunder attacks. Casting thunder on these monsters will deal particularly heavy damage. Some weapons are also more effective against certain monsters as well, unless you're playing the NES version, where, again, they're bugged and don't actually do what they're supposed to. So this guy talks about magic. 2 schools of magic, black and white. White is healing and defensive. Black is offensive. Each level of magic contains 4 distinct spells. However, any given character can only learn 3 of the 4 spells of a particular magic level. You can use Forget command to wipe your memory of any spell you previously learned. If you want to relearn it, you'll have to go and buy it again. So, basically, stuff I've already talked about for the most part. Anyways, we have gotten what we needed. We've resurrected Carl. It's time, and we've cleaned out the available spaces in the. We've cleaned out the available chests in the Chaos Shrines, and now it's time to take on Garland. And I'm feeling a little bit... I was going to say I'm feeling a bit toasty, but I think I'll be fine. I was thinking about opening up the window, but it is a little chilly out right now. Plus, I still got the heat on, so... I mean, it's not really on, it's just turned on. Alright. So we're very close to level 3. And, if you notice, since we stayed at the inn, everybody's magic charges have been filled to the max. Alright, so straight ahead here is Garland. And of course we get into a fight right before then. Alright, freaking Gigas Worms. Alright, we're going to go ahead and use that potion real quick. Just to top you off, because you don't have that much health. And I do not want to take the risk of losing Carl again this early. Alright. So yeah, it seems a little bit, you know, stupid to use a potion that can heal you for up to 55 points to recover only 6, but it's neither here nor there. It's either that or a cure spell, and I'd much rather not right now. Although, in the fight against Garland, we're probably going to start using magic. Just so that we can start healing our people better as well. And attack him with magic. I mean, he is a boss. Why not? So yes, everybody got a level up. Carl, there we go. Got a decent increase to health that time. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk to this guy. The king will have no choice but to exchange the kingdom for his daughter's life. Cornelia will be mine. Huh? Who's there? Huh. The king's lapdogs. Do you have any idea who you're messing with? You really think you have what it takes to cross swords with me? Very well. I, Garland, will knock you all down. Yeah, we'll see about that. I haven't done this for a while, so my throat's already kind of scratchy. Alright. Let's go ahead and attack you. We'll attack you. You are going to use Cure instead on Candle, and you are going to attack with Fire. Yeah, we're level 3. We're more than enough to take him on. You can actually take him on at level 1. No problem. I mean, it might be a little bit tough, but you could do it. Alright, let's go ahead and Cure again, this time on Jack. And we'll do... Why not? Let's do a Thunder for good measure. Show off the different spell. So yeah, he only has, 120-ish HP, maybe 200 at most. Which isn't that much. Alright, we're going to go ahead and cure Carl, bring him back up to max, and use our final Thunder. Jack is kind of our reserve here for attacks with magic and healing and stuff like that. But we don't really need him because Garland is already defeated. Haha! Take that! It's a bit of a pansy, actually. Almost enough to level up again, but not quite. Alright, princess. You are now safe. By the way, pay attention to the orb in the back, behind her. You've come to rescue me? I'm Sarah, Princess of Cornelia. Words could never be enough to thank you. That's the first time anyone's ever defeated Garland. You must allow me to show my gratitude. Please, accompany me to Castle Cornelia. So yeah, that orb behind her is important, but we'll talk about it later because it's not important yet. It's important much later down the road. Thank you for turning my daughter to my side. There can be no doubt that you are the warriors of light from Lucan's prophecy. You should hear the prophecy in its entirety. If I may. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. If they cannot gather the shards of light, the darkness will consume all. The 4 crystals will never shine again. Now, I hear that a crystal can be found on the continent to our north. Restoring light to the crystals is our only hope of ridding the world of the monsters which plague it. I will have the bridge to the north rebuilt, as I promised. I pray that you succeed in restoring light to the 4 crystals and to the world. Alright, so that's the completion of the quest. We've saved the princess. It's the end of the game, right? Nope. Yeah, where most games that, when this first came out, would have ended with saving the princess, here it's like the first step of a much larger journey. And something else I want to talk about real quick is the prophecy in this version is a little bit different from the original. In the original, the 4 warriors carried around the 4 elemental crystals, right? But it was by putting them on the altars that they lit the crystals and so on. Here, you still carry around 4 crystals, but I think you're carrying around 4 shards that have the last bit of light in them. And by reuniting them with the crystals, the main mother crystals, I guess you could say, since that's terminology for the franchise now. But by reuniting with them with the main mother crystals, that's what allows you to rekindle the actual light as well. So we'll talk about that probably a little bit more when we actually get to the crystals, because it's going to be a little bit. But for now that we've saved everybody, let's talk to them again. Sarah's thoughts are always with you. The dancing girl in town knows many odd bits of information. If you find yourself astray, try talking to her. She may know something that could put you back on. Oh, you already said that, didn't you? Same thing. What about you, princess? What do you got for us? This lute has been entrusted to the princesses of Cornelia for many generations. When he abducted me, Garland took this lute as well. I want you to have it. It may aid you on your journey. So there we obtain the lute, which is our first key item, and one that's not actually going to be useful until much, much later. But it's a good thing we have it, because I don't know if you can actually miss it on this version, but there are some versions where it's kind of almost optional. I mean, you'll have to go back and get it eventually, but you know, if you miss out on it early in the game, you might just completely forget about it. So yeah, it shows up in our items here under key items here. A sonorous instrument of great beauty. If you wanted, you could. I mean, here in Cornelia... No, it's nothing. You should make preparations for your journey. Restore light to the crystals. So I think she's kind of implying that, you know, we could marry her and become king. But you never know. Anyways, we did not heal automatically from that fight, so we gotta go heal as well. And we have enough gil now that we may as well fill out everybody's spell books as well. But first, let's see if anybody else has anything different to say. The Warriors of Light! I can't thank you enough for saving Lady Sarah. Because that's the thing is, after big things happen in this game, you want to talk to NPCs again, because they will have different things to say. Okay, you say the exact same thing. Some of them will repeat each other, but... I've been assigned the important task of defending Castle Cornelia. To be honest, I'm a little nervous, but some will offer like new hints on where to go next and what to do. The beautiful lute handed down for generations to the princesses of Cornelia is said to have a unique power. It can shatter the gateway of evil. So that's kind of your hint of what to do with the lute. But again, it's not going to come into play until much, much later. Are you the Warriors of Light? The ones from Lucan's prophecy? Yes, indeed we are. Alright, what about the queen? Is she feeling better now? You say the exact same thing. I don't know how I could ever thank you for rescuing Sarah. Well, the keys to the kingdom would be nice. Alright, been assigned an important task. Yeah, the guys in the back are going to say the exact same thing as well. To what they said earlier, I mean. But you, my sister's back, and it's thanks to you all. I could just kiss you. Mwah! Aw, thank you. How adorable. Alright. So leaving here, we get the cutscene for the rebuilding of the bridge. Orders from His Majesty. We're to do our part to fulfill Lucan's prophecy. So they start working on the bridge finally. God, I love the music in this game, and this is such a great version of it too. You know, it was completely reworked, remastered, overseen by Nobuo Uematsu too, I believe, the original composer. But it was completely reworked and remastered for this version of the game. So it's different from the you know, CD quality audio remaster music from the PS1 and PSP versions. What does this bridge have to do with the prophecy? The 4 warriors of light are here. They're here in Cornelia. Yes, indeed they are. All right. So let us go ahead and hit up the town for new supplies. First off, let's go ahead and get our remaining level 1 spells. We'll go ahead and give you sleep to Carl. Yeah, we'll give sleep to Carl. We're not really going to ever use it, but I like having a full spell book if possible. So, and the same thing here with giving protect to Jill. That's not what I wanted. Protect to Jill. There we go. All right. So now everybody has a full level 1 spell book. So let's go ahead and talk to the townsfolk again. A witch named Matoya lived to the north of Cornelia. So that kind of gives you a hint of where you can go next. You say the same thing, except you are also adding, you'll be needing a ship if you want to be able to move about more freely. If you have trouble obtaining one through normal means, you can always borrow a pirate ship. Oh, we know of a town that's beset by pirates, don't we? Restore the crystals to Grace. They say Matoya's peepers aren't too sharp. She can't see a thing without her crystal eye. Yes, indeed she can't. Hi there, I'm a dancer. Why are you still here? Weren't you supposed to be crossing that bridge to the north? You must really want to dance with me. Hee hee. Oh, I would like to, but I don't think we can. You say the same thing. I think you just tell us where we are still. Yes. And you mentioned Pravoka again, right? Do you say anything different? I once lived, yada yada. These days I hear to Pirates Den. No, you do not. But yeah, Matoya's Cave and Pravoka are the only two new locations we can go to. Let's go ahead and stay at the inn real quick. When you're playing the NES version, since this is like your primary way to save, kind of want to leave this until you're done in town. But here it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and go to the item shop though. And we're going to go ahead and buy some items. We'll buy 5 potions and that is it. That's all we'll get for now. That's all we can get for now. All right, so now it's time to cross that bridge. You guys ready for one of the most epic scenes in the game? Although the text does scroll really slow. It'll be after this fight, though. All right. That's a really quick fight at this point. There we go. Level up. Got to level 4. There we go. All right. Now, this cutscene actually was in the original game. It was like the only cutscene in the game. But it's still epic. I still love this every time I see it. In all of its, pixely glory. And so their quest began. And yes, the text scrolls really, really, really fucking slow. And so their quest began. As the 4 warriors of light, they felt overwhelmed by the great task destiny had placed before them. They did not even know the true significance of the 4 crystals they held in their hands. The crystals that once, long ago, held a light that shone so brilliantly. The time for their journey had come. The time to cast off the veil of darkness and bring the world once more into light. In the original version of this game, after that, it would show the title screen and give you the credits for the game, which were actually kind of lackluster. They didn't mention everybody they should have. Instead, it just mentioned the programmer, Nasir Gabelli, the character designer and monster designer, the Yoshitaka Amano, who is also the logo designer for the newer versions. The composer, Nobuo Uematsu. The scenario was written originally by Kenji Terada. And then it would say, contributions from Square's A-Team. And that was it. Not even, Hironobu Sakaguchi, the actual game's director, didn't even get a mention. Which I think is just crazy. Anyways, epic scene, love it. We're going to head on to see Matoya here, who is to the north. And we're going to go ahead and do auto battle for this, because it doesn't really matter. we can take these guys out lickety-split. Might take a couple rounds. You know, if we wanted to take them out more efficiently, we would have set Candle and Jack to take on the Goblin Guards, and then Jill and Carl to take on the Goblins themselves. You know, the regular Goblins. But here, doesn't really matter so much. Alright, so here's Matoya's cave. Ugh. Oh, wait, let me... There we go. Ouch! I don't know if you heard the thump, but whatever. My eye! My eye! Ouch! Oh, my eye! I can't see a blasted thing without my crystal eye! Who could have stolen it from me? I don't know. My eye! My eye! But she can't see anything, so let's go ahead and rob her blind. So she got a potion, another potion, and an antidote. Great. And these brooms, what about them? Frontwards, backwards, any way you see, such a strange spell to swish swishery. Ouch leknak swish swisheroo. So if you actually read that backwards, it says cancel an L2. Which, I don't know if it's going to do it here, but cancel an L2. So it pulls up the world map. There's really no need for them to keep this in here, because you can literally do it just with the square button, and then switching maps. You know, square button pulls, opens up your mini map to a much larger map, and then you can switch maps to the world map. Or if you're just on the world map, square literally just pulls open the world map. So it's the same thing. I don't know why. But yeah, on the original version of the game, older versions, where you didn't have as many buttons, the only way to open the world map was by holding, cancel and select, B and select on the NES. All right. Well, that's Matoya's cave done. Going there right now is optional, like I said. We're going to swap you guys to take on the ogre. And you know what? We're going to use fire as well. There we go. Try to get through this fight a little bit quicker. So yeah, going to Matoya is optional at this point, but it's still a great idea to do because it gives you a little bit more experience through these fights, and gives you more context for the story. All right, you are going to still attack. You are going to do cure, and you're going to do fire as well. There we go. Maybe I shouldn't have spread my attacks out like that. Because that first ogre would probably already be gone by now if I hadn't. But it's okay. Oops, nope, not what I wanted. There we go. And attack, and you. We're going to hold on to that last spell for a little bit. Oh shoot, I probably should have healed Candle. He can take the hit. There we go. So one ogre is gone. One remains. Let's go ahead, do a cure, do another cure, and screw it. Well, let's just go ahead and use that fire. No! No, Jill! Oh, fuck, Jill. Oh, god damn it. This is why it's good to get out and explore. Alright, run away. In the words of Monty Python, run away! Oh, because I really do want to try to keep everybody leveling together. I always take it as kind of a personal challenge. I usually end up failing at some point, but I want to try to keep everybody leveling together. So, flee, flee. Actually, you're all set to flee, so run away back to Cornelia to resurrect Jill. Hopefully we have enough gil. Because if we don't, then we're screwed. Oh yeah, we have plenty. Alright, gotta go down here. There we go. Preemptive strike. Good. Perfect. Run away. Alrighty. First off, let's go resurrect Jill. There we go. Thank you, Father. And now let's heal. There we go. Ah, much better. Alrighty. Now we can set off again, and we're all good to go. Alright, we'll take the lower path this time. We've got Giga Swarms. Set everybody to attack and put it on auto. We'll have to pull it off auto occasionally to heal up and stuff like that, but you know, it is what it is. We're doing much better this time around, I think. There we go. Alright, then it's straight off to the east here. Oh, there we go. Attack. Take out the ogre first. I'm a little bit worried about those Giga Swarms because I think they can paralyze you, if I remember correctly. But we'll see. I'm a little bit more worried about the ogre right now because he hits harder. And as a matter of fact, Carl has taken enough damage that we need to heal him. So there we go. Alrighty. Might want to heal Candle on the next turn too. There we go. And alrighty. Good. Got some heals in. Alright. Straight up attacks and we're good to go back on auto. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I love the music for this game. Nobuo Uematsu really did knock it out of the park right off the bat. And like I said, this is remastered music, but it's still excellent. Alright. Now, something I could have done, and I didn't even think about it at the time, was if we go into the boost here, you can turn encounters off and on. You can actually do that with clicking in, I think, the right stick. You can also change experience multipliers, 1x, 2x, 4x, 0, or 0.5, and the same with Gil. We're just going to leave these on 1, because we want, like, a good, honest playthrough of this game. But, yeah. You can also change the graphic display from standard to classic, which puts in these fake scan lines and also kind of softens and blurs the main image here. But I don't much care for that. I kind of prefer the straight pixely look. So we're going to go back to classic. You can also listen to the original music, the original 8-bit soundtrack as well, and change the font style as well. But we're going to leave that on classic, the classic pixel font. I really like that. Beyond that, there's other things you can change in here as well. But we're just going to leave it as is. It's fine. Alright, Giga Swarm. Preemptive strikes. Put you all on auto then. Preemptive strikes. We get a full round of attacks free of charge. Ambushes, the enemy gets a free round instead. Alright, so welcome to Pravoka. Please help us! Okay. What a way to start things out of the gate. Those blasted pirates, they're running around looting and pillaging like they own the place. Well, I mean, that's kind of what pirates do, isn't it? Thankfully, however, the inn is still open. I think the rest of the shops are closed, but the inn is open, so we'll go ahead and stay here real quick. Just to top up. And then it is time to take on some pirates. Because the rest of this town... Oh, the sanctuary's open too. But no, we don't need anything here. The rest of this town, like, there's nobody here right now. Can I actually go to the shops? Oh, we can actually use the shops. Okay, we'll do that in a bit though. I wanna bring it back the regular NPCs, other than these two. And the way you do that is by talking to this guy. But first, and just what be you doing here? You wouldn't be looking to make trouble with BK's Buccaneers, would you? And you say the same thing. You've got cannonballs of steel to be taking on the great pirate BK. Keel haul 'em, boys! And I don't know why the BK is Scottish, but whatever. Aye, aye, Captain. We'll make their bones go crunch. So that's a bit of a crew. But the thing is, even if even if you don't really spend that much time leveling up, they all go down to like one hit, even from Carl. Literally freaking Carl. Oh, maybe not from one hit from Carl. What the hell? Usually they go down from one hit from Carl. But either way, it doesn't really matter. This fight's not going to last more than 3 rounds. And there we go. So BK's Buccaneers have been defeated. We got a level up for our trouble. There goes 1. There goes 2. The High Beast's most sorry, young masters. I'll be making no more fuss, I swear. I want you to take me ship for your troubles. Can you find it in your heart to forgive an old pirate? Yes, indeed I can. And we got ourselves a ship, which lets us explore more. I've had myself a change of heart. I plan to buckle down and be the hardest worker in town. You believe me, don't you? I don't know. We'll see. Actions speak louder than words. Because of you, we needn't fear the pirates anymore. Thank you so much. You are very, very welcome. They say there are elves living across the sea, but the elf prince has fallen into a deep sleep and hasn't woken up. So we're gonna have to help the elves then, huh? You say the same thing. Nothing else down here. We've got the item shop and we've got the armor shop on this side of town. Welcome. So here there's iron armor, which would be great for Candle, but we can't afford it. We do have a leather shield, so we'll go ahead and get him that. And we'll get 4 pairs of leather gloves. And go ahead and equip everybody. There we go. That will help things out considerably. Alrighty. So now, let's go across to the other side of town. You say the same thing. Let's go around this way. I fled here from Melmond, a town far to the west. It is a truly pitiable sight. The earth rots, and monsters are attacking in the night. Is there nothing you can do to help? Not right now, because we can't get to Melmond. Eventually we will, though. Let's check out the weapon shop. Alright, so we've got a hammer, broadsword, which would be good, but we can't afford it. Battle axe, which would be good, but we can't afford it. And scimitars, which we can afford, but we're going to forego those right now. Because we'll get better weapons pretty soon anyways. And instead, let's check out the magic. So we've got level 2 magic here. So we've got Blizzard. We'll go ahead and get that for Carl. And unfortunately, can't afford anything else. So to go over these, Temper is another must-have, unless you're playing the NES version where it doesn't work. Temper allows you to raise an ally's attack. Blizzard is your 3rd elemental spell, so it's also a must. Dark, not really that great. It inflicts all enemies with darkness, but it has a low chance of actually succeeding. And kind of the same with Slow, which reduces enemies' attacks, but doesn't really have a high chance of succeeding. So when we come back, we'll get Blizzard and Temper for Jack, and also Temper for Carl, and we'll probably give Carl Slow to fill out his spell book. And we already kind of took a peek at it, but our white magics for level 2. Blindna can be somewhat useful, but not much because it counteracts darkness, which doesn't last after battle anyways, and doesn't really do that much. Silence can be useful, especially on one of the bosses later on, but it may or may not work on her. It has a low chance of actually succeeding. Null Shock is a must-have that reduces lightning damage for half the party. And then Nevaeh's is also good because it raises an ally's evasion, letting them dodge more attacks. So Blindna is the one we'll skip for this. And we'll give Jack Null Shock and also Jill and so on. But that will be for later because we can't do that right now. Because of you, we needn't fear the pirates anymore. Thank you so much. All right. Would you get out of my way, please? So we've talked to everybody here. We are done in Pravoka for now.